Hi everyone, I just got back from the gym not too long ago. My son was with his childminder, so I did manage to get a full workout today, which is good. I have not actually posted a vlog in a couple of days because I've been doing too much basically. It's been my son's birthday a little while ago, so I baked a cake, and in the process of that I also had to go and pick up a bike for him, which was pretty far away, so it was quite a lot logistically to organise because I don't drive. Also, just all of the mental load of this, the writing of lists of what needs to be done and staying up quite late into the night to make sure that all the preparations were done, the presents were sorted out, and just all of the organising, inviting people along to the gathering, coordinating that, and then actually hosting the gathering itself, quite a lot. And I guess also to add, with regards to the mental labour behind planning and organising and diary keeping, all of these things, it's the anticipation as well. Like with regards to my son's additional needs, I have to anticipate how he's going to be in each environmental setting with regards to who's there, what potential triggers there might be in that setting, sensory triggers, other things that are issues or obstacles for him. I have to pre-anticipate. So actually, as part of the planning process of this gathering, I had a plan in place, which I coordinated with a couple of people who I have supporting, to make sure that we were all on the same page with regards to making sure that he had everything that he needed on the day. So those are the things that are also unseen, these planning aspects, the communication and coordination of people who are also involved in care, and helping you to care for your loved one or child. All of this is also labour, and takes up a lot of headspace. The few days leading up to the birthday, I struggled to sleep because there was literally so much planning involved, that my head was just constantly going round and round and round, thinking, have I missed anything? Is there anything that I need to add? Oh, let me write it down, because one of the things that I have to do to make sure that I'm focused is that I list everything. Literally, I have to use a list. If I don't have a list, I completely forget. So I get through quite a lot of notebooks. But anyway, I baked a cake, so come and bake with me. So here I am sifting plain flour, 750 grams. It's a vegan vanilla birthday cake. It's quite a large cake, hence the reason for such a large amount of flour. And the finished result of the sifted flour, that's how it should look. So this is 4 teaspoon measurements of bicarbonate of soda. I'm mixing the dry ingredients separate to the wet before I put them all together, and this is always done with cakes to make sure that the consistency of the batter is good and you don't get any lumpy bits. So I've already weighed 600 grams of granulated sugar, which I'm mixing with the flour. You can also use caster sugar, it will taste the same. I'm just gently mixing together the dry ingredients now. Just for fun, I decided to add these sprinkles into the batter. I did have to pause and tend to my son around about 8 times whilst making the batter, as I was interrupted. This is 710 millilitres of soya milk and 230 millilitres of vegetable oil. This is 230 grams of vegan butter, I'm just putting it in the microwave to soften it for 10 seconds at a time so that I don't overdo it. This is just to show you the consistency. The butter should be softened but not melted. I actually forgot to add the vanilla extract, which is 6 teaspoons. I did do this afterwards though, but just make sure that you don't forget. This is mixing the batter together now. It's much easier to do with the machine than by hand, a lot quicker, especially with the butter. I did also have the thought whilst I was filming this, should I clean the kitchen, you know, so that you can't see any of the other things in the kitchen, for example, the water. You can see there's like a magazine in the background that my son has. And I thought no, because actually this needs to be a realistic depiction of motherhood and caring, right? This is not something that's highly edited or unrealistic. It's just the truth. It's authentic. This is the baking paper that goes within the cake tins. This is also the consistency of the batter when it's ready to go in the tins. You can see there that I've drawn around the cake tins and put the baking paper in them with a little bit of butter on the bottom to stick them. And now I'm just putting the batter into each of them. I used 4 different cake tins, which will be the layers of the cake. Once the cakes were in the oven, I started to make the toppers for the cake and also the buttercream, which you can see here. I'm mixing the butter together. I used 660 grams of butter and double the amount of icing sugar to make the buttercream. I then added 3 tablespoons of soya milk to the buttercream, and that's my topper there. That's just fondant icing on the bottom that I've splattered with some food colouring to make that effect. I'm now layering the cake with buttercream in between each layer. Just making sure that it's secure. I then went on to do a coat of buttercream over the top of the cake, which is a crumb coat, before doing a second one, which would be the final one to make sure it was all covered. Before I do that though, I put the cake dowels into the cake to make sure it was secure with no movement. Here's the crumb coat on the cake. So here's the finished piece. After setting the crumb coat and doing the second coat, I've then used food colouring to get that splattered effect and candy floss for the clouds to go with the rainbow, and that is Cinema Roll from Hello Kitty and there's all the lettering.